Bonjour à tous and welcome to Like a Parisian. In today's video I'm going to show you a new technique to create the Parisian makeup look for spring 2024. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you closer now so that you can see better what's happening on my face and how we are going to create this flawless, beautiful skin that is going to look as if we're not wearing makeup, but at the same time it's going to be quite perfected. I was using this makeup technique in my 20s when I was working on a project in Paris. I was reminded of this technique because we are close to my birthday and I'm going to be spending my birthday in Paris. So I thought that I'm going to be using this same makeup technique again because I have already forgotten about it. Okay, friends, now you can see quite accurately my face and I've already done my skincare and applied my SPF. Always make sure to do your skincare routine. Nothing has changed in my skincare routine, so I'm just going to go ahead and link to this video in case you're interested to see what is my current skincare routine. This makeup technique that I'm showing you now might look a little bit weird, but I challenge you to try it and let me know how it works in the comment section below, because this is what I have been using for years when I was working back then. And when you're a working professional, you always want to look really nice put together, but you always want people not to know that you're wearing makeup. Somehow everything has to be seamless so that it looks professional. You can recreate this look with other products, but please watch the whole video because I'm going to give you some important points that you should follow about the products. I'm going to be starting with the highlighter first, and this is usually going to be the last step of anyone's makeup routine. But here we're starting with the first step. I only have my skincare SPF and I'm starting directly with the highlighter. Now follow the process here. I am choosing, you can choose whatever highlighter you like. You may use, if you want, and if you feel more confident, you may use a liquid highlighter. I always, with this technique, have used powder highlighters and it is going to work. So I'm using a small brush. I'm going to link everything in the description box and I'm just going to apply the highlighter where you would normally apply your highlighter, right here at the high points of my cheeks, and I'm using this kind of a rounded brush. So I don't want to use these feather-like brushes, but I want to use a round brush because I want to get a little bit more like a cloud effect that is going to give me luminosity. So very quickly I'm getting the highlighter on these points of my face because these are the points where I want to have a little bit of luminosity. Next we are moving on to what is my current favorite blush, but you can use any products that you like. Back then when I was creating this look, when I was using this makeup technique, I was in the beginning of my career. I didn't have a lot of money, so most of the products that I used back then were, almost everything was a drugstore. So you can safely use drugstore products here. For the blush, I'm using a powder blush. This is my current favorite. I'm using the same brush because I don't care. I just want the colors to blend. I want to apply this, but very lightly. Now I'm using a small amount. I'm not building up the product here. I'm just going to pat this into my cheeks to have a little bit of color. Why I'm starting the other way around, like from the last step, is because I'm going to apply foundation, but everything is going to look so natural and beautiful and like lit from within. Okay. And here I'm making sure not to apply a lot, because if you apply a lot, the trick is not going to happen. You're not going to get the desired result. So just a couple of swipes are going to be enough because we are creating this very natural looking skin. Next, I'm going to use a very finely milled powder, loose powder. I'm using Givenchy. Now I have been always trying to invest in a good face powder because I always had a little bit more like an oily skin. Here about the powder, you can use any powder that you like, but make sure that it's invisible powder. So the whole idea here is that the powder should not give you color or coverage. Use just a little bit on your brush. That's way too much, so I'm gonna just tap it here. Also on the back of my hand. And I'm going to use the smallest amount of powder, tap it just here where I get shiny. Also on the forehead a little bit. And on the chin, basically on the places where you might have some pores and you might get shiny during the day. But if you apply too much, again, this is not going to happen. The trick is not going to happen. So the idea here with the powders, the highlighter, the blush and the powder is to use just the smallest amount so that it's going to give you this almost like, it's going to prepare your skin to look like it has a real life filter. And in real life, if you execute all of these steps correctly, you should get this real filter on the face, real life filter, and it should be almost like a wow effect on the skin in real life. Next is going to be your base. This can be foundation or tinted moisturizer of your choice, but the product should be easy to work with your fingertips. You shouldn't be using a brush or beauty blenders. The reason why we want to use a product that you can blend with your fingertips is because we want to get the most natural possible finish. We want to trick people that you're not wearing the tiniest bit of makeup, but you just look so naturally beautiful and you just have this real life filter. This is the whole idea. Not all foundations are created equal. If you choose something that is, you may choose something that has a light medium coverage, light coverage, or light medium coverage. Do not choose a full coverage foundation because this is not going to do the trick. So I am choosing the Sisley Tinted Moisturizer. This is my favorite tinted moisturizer that I can easily work with my fingertips. This one has, I would say, light to medium coverage depending on the amount that you use. We're going to use a small amount of product. I usually use the shade 0, but I also use sometimes 0.5. I'm gonna go ahead and use the shade 0 because it's the winter time, so my skin is a little bit paler right now. So the whole idea here is to rub this in between your fingers and start applying it with your fingertips. This should not take a lot of time once you get the hold of it, once you understand how to do it and how to apply it. And once you do it a couple of times, it's going to be the easiest and the quickest makeup look that you're going to do and the most natural looking. So I'm bringing it also up to the eyes, to the under eye area. So here it all depends on you whether you're going to use concealer or not. If you need concealer, please go ahead and conceal. I'm going to give you tips about concealing in a minute. I'm just going to press the product into my skin because this is going to give me the most natural looking finish. Beauty blender and brushes are not going to do the same effect. Just go ahead and try it and you're gonna see. I'm just going to go ahead now, use small amounts of foundation and pat it into my skin. Okay, now once you put the product, use this motion, just press into the skin. This is going to create this absolutely flawless effect. If you have sensitive skin, it might get a teeny bit of red because you're touching it, but it's gonna calm down in a few seconds after you stop doing that. So I have sensitive skin and it gets slightly rosy as I start touching it. Okay friends, and at this point you should be able to see this very flawless, almost like a light filtered effect on the skin. Everything looks blurred, but it still looks like your skin and it still looks like you're not wearing any makeup on because everything looks very natural and you're getting this beautiful dimension from the highlighter that you applied underneath. Next, we're moving on to concealer. I'm gonna be using my Sisley concealer because this is my favorite one. But you can use any concealer that you want, or even if you don't have a lot of darkness under the eyes, you just might stretch a little bit the tinted moisturizer or the foundation under your eyes. So for concealer, I'm only going to be using it in the inner corners of the eyes right here, because here it's not wrinkly. If you continue to use this one at certain time of the day, no matter how you set it, it's going to start to look as if you're wearing concealer. So that's why I'm only using the concealer right here, because here's where most of the darkness is for a lot of people, and here you don't have creases and you don't have fine lines, so you can blend this with your fingertip, or you may use, if you want, a beauty blender, a damp beauty blender, because it's going to blend, again, the concealer very seamlessly and smoothly. I'm just going to go ahead and use a damp beauty blender, maybe to speed up the process just a little bit because we are on camera. Okay, so this is going to be it, and my next step is going to be optional depending on your skin type, depending on your preferences, and depending on how intense your day is. Because let's say if you work as a medical professional, obviously your day is going to be with so much stress and pressure. So this is the part when you want to apply a little bit of setting spray. My personal favorite is going to be Charlotte Tilbury. I don't use setting spray because I feel like my makeup survives really well with this technique, and it survives for a very long time. But it all depends on the amount of pressure that you have during the day and on what you're going to do during the day, and also on how your skin behaves at the end of the day. So at this point, just spray a little bit of setting spray on a beauty blender and tap it onto the skin if you feel like your makeup is not gonna last well. This is my preferred way to use a setting spray. I'm just gonna spray a little bit on. With my last Sephora purchase, I actually got the MAC setting spray, which again is a very good one. It's one of the good setting sprays. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. So this is a little sample from the MAC. If the camera can focus, it's going to be great. Okay, from the MAC setting spray. Again, this is a good one. I also love the Charlotte Tilbury, and that's it. I don't like other setting sprays. I'm just going to go ahead and spray a little bit of that setting spray on my beauty blender. And I'm going to tap it onto my skin. Make sure that everything is dry before you proceed to the next step, which is going to be setting everything with loose powder with a damp sponge. The sponge has to be damp, otherwise it's not going to work as beautiful. And here, again, this step is going to be optional. If you think that you have dry skin, dehydrated skin, and your skin is not going to get shiny during the day, it's not going to get oily, it's also going to depend on the season, leave it here. And don't set with powder. I am going to use just a little bit of setting powder. I'm taking it on the back of my hand so that I don't have almost anything on my beauty blender. And I'm just going to touch right here for additional airbrushed effect. Now you have to experiment, you have to try this and see how it's going to work for you and how it's going to look most beautiful for you. I do this because I want to get additional airbrushed effect. But it's all going to depend on how your skin looks, what is the condition of your skin, what is the size of your pores. But make sure to not apply more powder around here because you're going to take away this beautiful effect that we have for a lit from within glow. Now, depending on the color of the blush that you use and the amount of product that you put, you might decide to skip the blush now. Or you might decide to emphasize the blush a little bit more, to add a little bit more blush. I am going to apply a little bit more blush. I'm using the same one, but sometimes if I use a deeper blush and it shows through, I'm going to skip this step. So here it's all about creating it your own way. Just going to apply a little bit. And this is going to be the skin. Now I'm going to lightly fill in my brows and I'm going to move on to the eyes and lips. Now for me, most of the time I'm not going to need to reapply my blush because this is the part where I put the blush. I just skip the foundation and the tinted moisturizer. If you don't need it, don't put it on your face. So place the foundation or the tinted moisturizer only on the parts of the face that need coverage, because sometimes if you apply the blush here, you're going to get enough blur and you're not going to need to apply the tinted moisturizer. That's why also it's very important that the tinted moisturizer or the foundation will be easy to work with so that you can place it on parts of your face that you want to. And it's very important also to choose the color that is going to match perfectly your skin tone, because this is going to allow you to place the product only where you need to. We're moving on to the eyes now, and my eyes are quite irritated now for some reason. I just work a lot on computer, so my eyes are irritated. For eyes, I'm going to be using just a highlighter. This is the Rosy Gold. Exactly, this is the Rosy Gold from Chanel, which I actually like to use on my eyes for a kind of everyday looks. It's just going to add a little bit of sheen to my face, and I'm going to place it first with fingers and then I'm going to use a brush for more precise blending. But the first time I'm usually going to pack the highlighter with my fingers. I'm using a new brush from Refra. I'm gonna make sure to list it in the description box. This is their first synthetic brush and they have amazing price right now. Next, I'm taking the dark brown from Tissé Révolu and I'm going to be using this one as an eyeliner because I want to add a little bit of dimension to my eye, but I don't want to use actual eyeliner. I want to make the look softer and more natural. I'm just going to apply the color close to my lash line. And then I'm going to curl my eyelashes and apply mascara. I turn the lights down so that you can see a little bit better all of the colors, and plus the weather is changing all of the time. For my lips, I'm going to be using an iconic Dior lipstick that is, I think, dedicated to Paris, and this is Rouge Paris. It's one of the most beautiful lipsticks, and this is a true Parisian color. It's not your typical bright red lipstick that is really hard to wear in a business environment most of the time, but it's a beautiful combination of pink and red. This is a color that suits a lot of different skin tones. This is one of the most versatile colors, and I would suggest this color to anyone who is a working professional because it's a very easy to wear color. It adds enough freshness to the face, and it's a beautiful combination of pink and red, but it's not your classic typical red color, which, to be honest, not many Parisian women are wearing, and especially in the business environment, especially let's say if you're a working professional. It all depends on the job that you're doing, but this color is quite professional. At the same time, you have this freshness that a red lipstick is going to give you, but it's a very sophisticated color. It's a really beautiful one. It has a light sheen, and what's even better, you can very easily apply this one on your cheeks. Let's say if you feel a little bit tired, or if you feel like your face lacks color during the day, you can very easily apply this one. Okay, the cap fell, but anywho, so you can very easily apply this one also on your cheeks. And I like this kind of colors that I can use on my lips and on my cheeks. Right now the look is quite natural, it looks beautiful, and I think that this is a universally flattering look that you can try. Let me know if you try it, let me know how it works for you. One last thing that I might do sometimes, only sometimes, is after I've done my eyelashes, I'm going to take a little bit of this color here, a softer color, not the same that I used as an eyeliner, and I'm going to lightly define my crease, because after your lashes are curled and with mascara, it's very easy to just with one swipe, and this is going to make a huge difference in real life, probably not on camera, but let me see if you can see the difference actually. It's just that giving me a little bit more definition, and it only takes a second to do so. You can probably see that this eye is a little bit more defined compared to this one. So this is what I would usually do. And doing that after you have curled your eyelashes and applied the mascara with a color that doesn't have fallout, it is just going to define the crease a little bit and give your eyes a little bit more dimension and a little bit more lifted look. If you want some more tips on how to create a more lifted face look, let's say if you want to lift your face and look a little bit younger and create this whole illusion with makeup, I have a video that you can watch right here. Et voila, this is going to be my Parisian makeup look for spring 2024. I can't wait to go to Paris and to celebrate my birthday. My last step is going to be applying a little bit of fragrance. I'm going to be using the newest La Vie Belle fragrance, and this is Rose Extraordinaire. This is my current perfume. As you can see, I'm making quite a dent now. And if you're interested in this fragrance, it's a very nice floral happy fragrance. I have a full review of this perfume. I'm going to make sure to link it here and also in the description box. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and until next time, à bientôt!